Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. This is going to be a great one. This is the October energy update, and I just finished writing out what Spirit had to share. So I hit record right away. And throughout these points, they led me kind of through a storyline and then tied it up at the end with their fifth point. So all to say, I have 5 points to share with all of you, fresh from Spirit, about October energy. And the first thing that Spirit wanted me to share with all of you, the first point, probably one of the most important points that really opens the gateway or closes the gateway for your journey in October, is to temper your anger. Yeah, temper your anger. And I'd mentioned something about this that Spirit had brought through in the post-eclipse message. I think that was just last week's podcast. And this is so important because with everything that we opened up and cleared through the eclipse season, okay, with everything happening in the collective energies right now as well, there's a lot of anger energy. There's a lot of triggery energy available to us to trigger the anger. Now, it's not so much that the anger itself is bad per se, because anger can give us a good direction of something that needs to be healed, cleared, recognized, all kinds of things. But when we sit in the anger and we stay in the anger without becoming productive because of it, without consciously choosing what we're going to do because of it, we actually hold ourselves back in a lower frequency. And oftentimes anger makes us feel safe because at least if we're angry, we don't feel weak and vulnerable. So I say that because it's a natural thing to want to sit in anger because you feel empowered. And essentially that's the point. Anger allows us to feel empowered, right? It allows us to set a boundary. It allows us to step up and share and whatever that might be. But we have to switch it from anger into consciousness. And that's the piece that Spirit is like, really be cautious of your anger energy right now, because it will have the potential to block your progress as much as it can open your progress. By giving you those trigger points, it can severely block your process and your progress if you stay stuck in it. So something to really consider is, where is anger coming up for you right now? And are you allowing it an outlet, or are you allowing it to keep you stuck? Okay, because anger is really going to have the ability to get in the way. And I'm going to explain why that is even compounded this month, but I will do that in my last point. Okay, we're going to get to it. I'm taking you on the same journey as Spirit took me. So now that we recognize the anger piece, their second point was get to know your new equilibrium. That was their words. Get to know your new equilibrium. Recognize what balance means to you now, because your balance and your equilibrium has changed. Since the eclipse, you have changed in the way that your body requires balance, in the way that your mind requires balance, and the way in which you balance yourself in this new dimension, so to speak, that we all are residing in, because a lot changed after the eclipse. So what does that balance look like for you? Because it's very significant in its impact on your journey, just like anger, right? So if you are stuck in the anger, you're going to be held back. If you can't recognize your new equilibrium, that will also hold you back, because you may likely burn out. And this new equilibrium I was asking Spirit to kind of describe it. Like, how would this be? What would it look like? And they said, for some of you that have been used to just like go, go, go all the time, that kind of energy where you're always on the run, you're moving, you're not really thinking so much, your energy has changed, that your thoughts have a bigger impact now. And so when you do allow a bit of that thinking to come in, it's going to change the energy expenditure in your body, meaning you have to do something more or different to balance that out. The same as if you keep running all the time without thinking as much, because your energy is ascending, your mind and your spirit are really wanting to push in to those daily activities where you're just busy, busy, busy. And if they don't have enough space to push in, they may create something that forces you to slow down, like getting sick or, I don't know, an injury of some sort where you have to stop and then take in the information that's coming in. It's all about equilibrium, right? And this is really needed because we're in this new energy frequency. We have a lot of energy that we can create from. Remember, I talked about that in last week's podcast. There's this huge momentum energy, this new frequency, more alignments coming in. But if we're out of equilibrium, if we're out of balance, we won't reach those alignments. Just as if we stay in anger, we're going to stay in the lower frequency that doesn't allow us to kind of catch the wind and set sail in that momentum energy. So it's really important this month to start looking at yourself as this like balance of polarities, if you will. If we kind of simplify it, I was going to say mind, body, spirit balance, but even if we simplify it more, balance of polarities, the light and dark within you, both need the opportunity to express. The same as action and rest needs the opportunity to express equally. And yes, there's times where life demands more of us and we have to be more in action than in rest. And that's okay. We have like a bandwidth to kind of move through. But if we just stay in the action without the rest, then we're going to deplete in all aspects, mind, body, and spirit. Right? Just as if we stay in rest and we don't do the action, we're missing out on prime momentum energy. And the way that they show it to me is that this is this sort of, it's this energy that's around right now, especially this month, is sort of like this untapped potential. Let's look at it like a stem cell. A stem cell has the capacity to become pretty much any cell. You can teach the stem cell what to become, an organ cell, a skin cell, a bone cell, right? It's this untapped potential, kind of like a seed, right? The seed, tiny seed, has the potential to become an entirely massive oak tree or a cedar tree, right? So we're sitting in that energy right now. And if we miss it, it doesn't mean we're going to completely miss the boat and, life is over, but we're missing a prime fertile time right now of creation energy. This is also why Spirit was talking the other day on the Ascension message. If you missed that, check out the YouTube videos where the Pleiadians brought through an Ascension message about using your divine sexuality, that creative energy within you. It's part of the creation energy for this manifestation time, right? It's all connected in. And that video goes into all the detail of it. So you can check that one out there. But recognizing this new equilibrium is so important because we can make it work for us. We can create it to be like a life raft that allows us to move down the river and stay dry instead of having something drag us down the river and we stay soaking wet and cold. Okay. It's a beautiful momentum, but it takes consciousness. And you will notice this. They're showing me, you'll notice this in people around you. And it's not in a form of judgment by any means. It's just a recognition. Those that are staying in the anger or staying out of balance will likely this month come up with more roadblocks, more, random events that happen that slow them down, or patterns that keep repeating themselves because they're not using the consciousness to pay attention to what's coming up. Okay. So really notice those 2 points. All right. The third point. Okay. The third point. There is a thin veil this month because of, number one, Halloween, Samhain, the time of year, especially as we get towards the end of October, and the astrology. However, it's also because of our increased consciousness post-eclipse. So we have a thinning veil, okay, makes it easier to connect in with those on the other side, but we also have higher consciousness, which already allows you to be in a higher frequency, higher dimensional consciousness to connect with those on the other side. And if you're new to my podcast and you're wondering, what do you mean? Like, explain it. Years ago, when I was still doing readings and I didn't understand how I could do readings, I asked Spirit one day, I said, how does this work? Like, explain it to me. And because I would find some days I would see Spirit and some days I wouldn't see them. And I was like, how is this happening? Am I crazy? And they said, it's all based on your frequency. So if you're vibing in 3D frequency, for example, 3D frequency makes our 3D reality tangible, right? So it makes things solid. Um, it makes it structured. Okay. When you start to move into fourth dimension and fifth dimension and higher, you're moving into a frequency that is above our reality here. So that starts to make things visible that you wouldn't normally see just in the 3D frequency. So what would happen is on days where I was naturally high vibing, I was popping into 4D in my energy frequency. And that's why I could see spirit some days. And then other days when I would try, I didn't know I needed to raise my frequency. I would try and try, but I was stuck within the energy of 3D frequency. So your consciousness going up means you're raising your frequency past 3D into 4D. For many of you, 5D consciousness, you're already there. Then we have the veil thinning as well. That makes for easier contact with your spirit guides, with past loved ones, with galactics, with energy, with elementals. Energy itself, just experiencing energy itself. There's so much more that you will be able to tap into this month because of the combination of those two things. And so they said there will be an increase in what we would call supernatural experiences, which is really just awareness beyond 3D. And they said for some of you, it might almost feel like this new reality. Again, this ties into the equilibrium, becoming aware of this new reality where you're aware of so much more around you, right? They said for some, it might almost feel like culture shock. You know, that experience if you've ever gone to a totally different country, maybe like the first time you traveled and you go to a totally different country and it's kind of overwhelming to see how different it is. The language is different. The food is different. Maybe the sounds are different. The cities look different. Like everything is different. It's kind of like, whoa, where's my bearings? Some of you may experience that with this increase of connection to the higher dimensions, seeing beyond the veil. And that's very normal. But Spirit said, adapt, don't fall into fear. Because again, this is this time for adaptation for us to really change and grow in our consciousness. That's what we're doing, right? So something to consider, okay? Now, my fourth point is we will have in October this new hunger for knowledge, is what Spirit said. Again, it's because of the higher frequency. We want to know more. We want to understand more. And Spirit said, for many of you, you will feel ravenous. There will be a ravenous hunger for knowledge. So if you find you're suddenly wanting to go down these rabbit holes about consciousness or healing or, I don't know, maybe gardening, maybe whatever it might be, how to mend your body or open up consciousness, like whatever it is, some of you may already be noticing this, they're saying, but they're like, there's a hunger for new knowledge, a ravenous hunger. So follow it. Again, it's this momentum energy taking you to where you need to go, leading you down the path of things you need to learn or see or hear to bring you into that higher state of consciousness with wisdom. Because if you think about it, when we access higher states of consciousness without wisdom, it's terrifying. We don't understand. Growing up as a kid, and when I would have spirits come around, I didn't understand what was happening and it was terrifying. Now I carry a certain amount of wisdom that I can interact with it and I enjoy it and I love it. I feel grateful for it, right? It's that same thing. So that ravenous hunger for knowledge is leading you to what you need to know next. And sometimes you may think, well, what I really want to learn is about spirit, but what I keep feeling drawn to is, let's say philosophy. And the invitation from spirit is follow where you're drawn to. There's a purpose in it. There's a lesson. There's an understanding. There's a story. There's pieces of wisdom to bring back to then make sense of the bigger puzzle that is your life. This ravenous hunger is here for a reason. Don't deny it. Use this momentum energy and allow this river, essentially, of momentum to lead you to where you need to go. Okay. All right. Now, coming into the fifth point, and this ties all of this stuff together. And this is what I love about it. So we will have an increased sensitivity to moon cycles from here on forward, post-eclipse, okay, from here on forward. And in October, we have a full moon on October 6th, which is an Aries moon, which is the anger piece. What is Aries? Fire, the warrior. It is the feistiest of the fire signs is Aries, god of war, right? This is where this Aries energy in the full moon, this moon really lighting it up, is going to flare the aspects of anger. But if you're conscious of it, they become tools. They become points of like, ooh, I didn't realize that was a thing. Sweet. Now I know about it. Thank you. Right? Like in some cases that might feel simplified and generalized. And I understand sometimes certain angers are very visceral and very deep. But if you can temper your anger and use consciousness in it, they will become tools and you'll be able to sort of transcend it. And that's a powerful thing. So this Aries piece with the anger also allows for momentum and clearing things that need to be cleared to get you into your greatest flow. So there's such a benefit to it also. At the same time, we have the new moon on October 21st, which is in Libra, balance, right? The balance piece. And what was Spirit's first 2 points? First one was anger. Second one was get to know your new equilibrium. So the energy in Libra is wanting to bring us into that new equilibrium and invite us into working with it. We don't need to always be striving and pushing so hard that we're out of balance. That's actually now a very old frequency. For some of you, it might still feel very active, but it's sort of like Spirit showing me a way you could explain it by me saying it's an old frequency. It's like it's going out of style. So maybe let's compare. Let's compare the push, push, go, go, make everything happen energy is kind of like skinny jeans. They're not that popular anymore. The wide leg jean is more relaxing and comfortable, right? More equilibrium in it. So, I mean, I think that's kind of funny, but it's so on point. And again, I love when Spirit brings through the things and then they wrap it up into something bigger that's having an effect. So not only are we noticing the equilibrium and the anger pieces within us, but it's reminding me of the as above, so below card in the Avalon deck, which is the astrological cycles, the moon cycles are having a huge effect and it's going to be increased because our consciousness is such that we are more connected in awareness to the greater aspects around us, to the cosmos. So you are becoming more multidimensional, but like more supernatural too. You're becoming more magical. These ideas of magic being alive within us are becoming more tangible. But you have a big role in that. Your role is as a creator in that. So you can use that to create destruction, or you can use that to create, beautiful bounties and productivity, things for the greater collective. And that's the ideal. So I will leave that with you all for now. That is your October energy update. There is so much going on around us. But really focus on your journey right now because your journey is helping to shift the energetics and the frequency in the collective because what you do matters. So thank you so much as always for joining me, and I will see you all next week. Have a good one, everyone.